So an enrolled agent is someone that has a particular license, which is issued from the IRS, which is called the enrolled agent license. So for example, let's say that somebody is getting audited, they're not your client, and they want representation. They don't want to go into the IRS audit by themselves, right? So they are not going to be successful in hiring a regular tax preparer to do that who doesn't have a CPA or an EA license, because that tax preparer, unless it's their client, what is an EA? So this topic and this question brings to mind an interaction that I had a while ago where I was at like a cocktail party in our neighborhood, a new neighborhood. And I don't want to call this lady like an upper crust, but maybe a little bit of snobbery was going on. And, it's the proverbial, what do you do? Like, let me judge like what your status is, or how do you fit into this, right? In the new neighborhood. And so she said, what do you do for work? I said, I'm a tax consultant. She said, are you a CPA? I said, no, I'm an enrolled agent. And she was having some cocktails at the cocktail party. She might have been a little bit tipsy. And she says, you're an enrolled Asian? And it was so baffling to her because she was looking at me and she was like, you're not Asian. And so those are the kinds of things that sometimes happen when you don't know what an EA is or how to explain it, even if you are an EA. And so I want to give some credit to the different enrolled agent organizations and the IRS, where it's more widely understood what an EA is, but it's also still a source of a lot of confusion. And it even can be confusing for EAs how to explain what an EA is, even if you are an EA. So let me give you a quick breakdown of how I look at this after having different, potentially humiliating experiences, such as the enrolled agent incident. So an enrolled agent is someone that has a particular license, which is issued from the IRS, which is called the enrolled agent license. So all an EA is somebody that has earned that license by passing the tests and going through the other processes, which are all quite doable with the Internal Revenue Service. Now, when you have that license, just like a driver's license gives you certain abilities to do certain things, AKA drive a car, in the case of an enrolled agent license, that license gives you the ability to represent taxpayers before all levels of the IRS. And so really it's a license to deal with the IRS in a much more comprehensive way than a non-EA regular tax preparer would be able to do. So for example, let's say that somebody is getting audited, they're not your client, and they want representation. They don't want to go into the IRS audit by themselves, right? So they are not going to be successful in hiring a regular tax preparer to do that who doesn't have a CPA or an EA license, because that tax preparer, unless it's their client, they don't have the license and the ability to go represent that taxpayer, that client, at that audit. Whereas an enrolled agent, you do have the license, which gives you the ability to represent that client. And so when you're thinking of the EA designation and what it does and what it means, it's really a license to deal with the IRS in a very comprehensive way, to represent your clients' interests, protect them from the IRS. If they have any negative interactions with the IRS, such as having tax problems, having tax debt, those kinds of things, you can really delve into that, represent them, and resolve it. So it's almost, I don't want to say it's comparable to an attorney's license. It's a similar idea though, in the sense that it gives you those representation powers before the IRS, because they have given you this license to practice before the IRS. So in the big picture, that's what it means. EAs in reality, in a lot of cases do a lot of different things. So you might find EAs that are doing financial planning to some degree. You find EAs that are pretty much doing the same type of work as a tax preparer would do, but they just have the EA designation. So that gives them more confidence. It gives them a little more education, shows their expertise level. So in terms of EAs, the actual human beings, such as myself being an EA, you have a lot of different options that you can do, but it's just big picture in terms of what is an EA and what does an EA mean? It means that you've passed those tests with the IRS and gone through their other procedures to be able to represent taxpayers and clients with the IRS in a very comprehensive way and to represent your client's best interest. So from the client point of view, this is actually a super important and super valuable thing, right? Because a lot of tax clients, they want to know, hey, if I ever have a problem, I want somebody that knows how to go in and fight with the IRS or deal with the IRS in a way that represents my best interest so that I don't have to deal with the IRS. So in terms of the license and the actual abilities that you have as an EA, there's a lot of value there for clients. And if we can communicate that value and how the EA license helps us to deliver that value and that protection, that ability to sleep well at night for clients, then your success as an EA will only be amplified. I should note here before the video closes out that we do help people become EAs, right? And we here at Pronto Tax School, and we don't just help people become EAs in terms of getting their credential. We help you to see what to do with that credential, how to communicate the value of that credential. What services should you add or should you not add as an EA? Those are the kinds of things that you're able to explore through our mastermind groups, through our mentor support sessions, through our coaching programs, and through our community. Because there's a lot of people in our community, the Pronto Tax School community, that have gone through that exact same path. So they might have been asked at different kinds of events, just like I was, what is an EA? And they didn't feel confident about what to say that it was. And then they figured out how to express it better, right? So just being in contact with those kinds of people, which is what we would love to do, is give you that community. We feel like it helps you not only become an EA in the first place, but be the best EA that you can be.
Hey, this is Imelda here, and I just wanted to take a moment to remind you that if you'd like to keep up with our latest content, to make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.